Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris Stollings. You know me here on YouTube as MarauderEX, and as always, I'm your host for Operation Recap, where I take some of the stories from OperationRainfall.com and I bring them over to YouTube.com. Just give them a little more exposure, that sort of thing. I got a lot of stories, so I'm going to just jump right into this. First off, the kind of biggest set of stories is the Tokyo Game Show. Happened last weekend. Lots of stuff shown off. We have a lot of articles to it. I'm going to link in the video description for the trailers list. That way you can just see all of the trailers that were shown off at the Tokyo Game Show that we've got. There were a lot. We didn't even get all of them up on our channel because some of them were they were out there all over the place. Some of the games were shown off pretty much everywhere, which was kind of surprising. This is the first time I've worked at Tokyo Game Show, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. It was interesting. Not as hectic as E3, a little more laid back, but so all the Tokyo Game Show info we've got is going to be in wherever YouTube decides to put the video description. It could be below, the side, left, right, up, down, 3D, stereoscopic, I don't know. Next up, Namco Bandai, Tales of Zestiria, trademarked in the United States. They went kind of crazy with the Tales series. Tales of Zestiria 2 was announced. Tales of Zestiria has been trademarked in the U.S. I'm fine with that, really. I would love more Tales games. They know that the Tales games is a solid series, and I would love to see more of it. So here's hoping that this trademark leads to something like a localization, perhaps, maybe. Because you can file paperwork with not actually having to do anything, but if you want to do something and the paperwork's not there, it's a problem. So it could mean that it's coming over, or it could mean that they're just getting all of their ducks in a row regardless. So here's hoping. Next up, Sonic: The Lost World release date has been pushed back. Not that big of a deal, given the dates. It was originally scheduled for release October 22nd. Now it's been released, its scheduled release date is October 29th, so like about a week later. Not terrible, but it is raising some eyebrows because Sega has been raising eyebrows lately. They've been doing a lot of stuff that's making people talk and think, which is a good thing for a company, but it's also concerning to some gamers about their long-term franchises that they are fans of. So I don't think a week release date is really going to kill Sonic. I mean, Sonic always has strong releases, except for 2006. So we'll see. We'll see. I've actually been kind of excited about Lost World, especially since it's on the Wii U, and I think the Wii U needs some love. But we'll see how it goes. So next up, the Retron 5 is going to be released on December 10th. For those of you who don't know what the Retron 5 is, it is an all-in-one classic console. Almost all-in-one, completely. The Retron series has been devoted to being clone consoles for older consoles. They have cloned NESs, cloned SNESs, cloned Genesis, and then they started combining them. They had one that was an NES and an SNES together. Then it was an SNES and a Genesis, and then it was all three of them put together. Now it's getting even more complicated than that. Because this one has 5 things. It's got NES, SNES, it does Famicom games, it does Master System games, it has a port on the front that does Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and classic Game Boy games. Mind blown. As a collector, this is one of those things that's like, it's not the original hardware, it is cloned hardware, so, there's going to be some hiccups, some games not running properly or not at all, but for the most part, they've ironed out a lot of the kinks for that. It's not quite the same as owning the original, but for ease of use, it's amazing. You have one console that can play all of these, actual cartridge games. It's not, and the games themselves are not emulated. You have the actual cartridge, you plug it in and you play it. It has output through HDMI, it has Bluetooth controller. It's an impressive little system. And the more I see of it, the more I'm honestly tempted to add one to my gaming shelf. Just, that's all there is to it. So, yeah. And the last story, which is also kind of one of the biggest and kind of hits close to home, is we're going to do some changes at Rainfall. And there's an article about it, and you guys have already started expressing your opinions and concerns. And we really want to hear these opinions and concerns. But what we've been kicking around at Rainfall is covering more mainstream titles. For E3, we cover everything except for the sandbox games, the Call of Duties, the Battlefields, the things that are already getting oversaturated in the press. But we cover all sorts of stuff from E3. We're some of the only people that cover a lot of the RPGs, some of the smaller titles, Crimson Dragon, which that one's actually been getting hits from pretty much everywhere. But we cover everything at E3. And we're talking about doing that full time. We're still not going to be covering like the yearly releases that are just getting thrown in your face that you guys, we know you're tired of, at least tired of hearing about. You may love the franchises, but it's a little daunting to hear the millions and millions of dollars that put into the advertising for stuff like Call of Duty and Battlefield. Or the fact that GTA 5 has been on the first 5 pages of any gaming site for the last week. We're not going to be pushing things to that extreme. We're talking about covering more mainstream stuff. We're talking about doing a lot more stuff here on YouTube, a lot more original content, video reviews, new shows like this, things like that, just to increase our presence, because we want to turn this from a fan organization, a grassroots campaign that started, to something that can contend with other gaming news sites. And while we've carved out a very strong audience with the niche games, there has to be a lot of niche games come out. And that's the thing. The problem with niche games is they are niche. They don't always come out on a regular schedule. So finding things to cover sometimes has been kind of, iffy. Especially during the slower times of the gaming season. We've seen a lot of comments about cover Steam, cover good old games, cover indie developers, Kickstarter. And these are the things that we want to hear about from you guys. If we have to start covering things that are more than what we have been, what would you suggest? What would you suggest that we avoid? We already know we're avoiding, the FPSs, the sandbox style games, the things that are more money is spent into the advertising of the game than the game itself. But there are mainstream stuff out there that's probably not getting as much attention as it deserves. You guys are probably already seeing a lot of it on other sites, but what would you like to see our spin on, our take on? And that's what we want to know. So in the video comment section here, tell us what you want to see, both site-wise and video-wise. Right now, all we really have on YouTube is we have recap and we have trailers. I had a couple of shows that I've kind of neglected because I got caught up in other events, because I stopped doing them starting at E3, and then I just haven't picked them up. Like the What Were They Thinking series. But what would you, as viewers and as fans of Rainfall, what would you like to see us do? And express your comments and concerns, please. We want to know, because we want to turn Rainfall into something more than what it is. So yeah, I've got the article that we're discussing that in the video description. So I'm gonna go, because I can keep rambling about this forever, and I really need to stop and make it kind of concise. So just comments, questions, concerns in the video description or on the article itself. We want to know what you guys are thinking and what you guys would like to see from us. Till then, I'm gonna go and stop rambling, and I will catch you guys in the next recap.